I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we are in the kitchen at Pachamama's in Lawrence, Kansas. I'm talking to their executive chef and owner, Ken Baker. Ken, thank you for inviting me into your kitchen.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Okay, Pachamama's, it's not a familiar name. What does it mean?
It comes from South America. It means Earth Mother. And the Andean tribes down there worship Pachamama as part of the harvest and just a natural progression of life.
An appropriate name here. So what is the concept for the restaurant?
The concept is new American, very market-driven, what's available and fresh, and we try and go for a very simple approach.
So we're going to find seasonal items on our plate. Do you have a relationship with growers? Is that how this happens?
Very much so.
Very much so.
And over the last 2 years, it's been something that grows and builds upon itself. It's been really fantastic.
So they sort of help drive the menu because what's in, what's abundant, what's fresh, that's
Sure.
helpful to you?
Once upon a time, I used to make the phone calls to them, and now they call me to let me know what they have. So it's really exciting.
All right, let's talk about your journey to Pachamama's. How'd you get here?
A long one.
Okay, I bet it's exciting.
I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and graduated high school in 1990 and came up to KU.
You
Came to KU.
KU from MU land, okay?
Maybe should have taken a year off to find my soul or whatever I was going to do, but I didn't do that. I went to poli-sci and history here at KU. I had been working in kitchens previously. I had my own catering company in high school. Sounds impressive.
It is impressive.
It was part-time. Let's earn a little money on the side. It was a lot of fun.
So, but food has been an interest and something that you've been connected to for a while.
A huge part of my life.
Huge part of your life, but you went into, well, you know, we always think we have to do something serious when we go to college.
That's right.
And really serious is probably as much
Father
about...
said I needed something to fall back on.
Fall back on. Okay, so went to KU, and then?
And then after 3 years, I think both KU and I agreed that maybe we should find something else.
Okay,
and
we had mutual understanding. Yeah, okay.
And going back to the kitchen was very easy for me.
So you started working in kitchens, and who was an influence? All our chefs say that over time there have been some folks that really made a difference in who they are and the way they cook. Who was that for you?
My first and foremost was a neighbor we had when I was fairly young, Ray Pinar, and he was a South African expat.
Oh my goodness.
Who worked in the food industry,
Yes.
but on the supply side. But he was very passionate about it. He used to take me hunting and taught me how to cook duck and quail.
All right, so again, you know, that connection to the food source.
Yeah.
All right, and taught you how to cook poultry.
He was very good.
Very good. All right, and then?
Gave me my first chef knife when I was still, maybe not even 10. I don't remember. So
We have another chef, Selena Teo from Julian, who was given a chef knife at a very young age and taught the responsibility of the knife, but was courageous about it. And so you had your first chef knife at 10.
pretty young.
It is young. You gonna let your 3-year-old son have a chef knife at 10?
Very possible.
Very possibly. Good for you.
Not that I'm going to have him follow in my footsteps. That's
Maybe not the exact ones, but you blazed a trail here, and he'll be learning from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So then, who are your other mentors or sources of inspiration?
I worked under a gentleman in New Orleans, Daniel Bonneau, who was part of the old guard French chef.
So you had some New Orleans there too. All right.
Yeah.
So is the owner chef from Starkers, and boy, that seems to make a difference. So how long were you in New Orleans?
6 months.
6 months.
Was doing
But
internship. and
okay. Oh, and so what were you in school?
I was in school out in San Francisco, California Culinary Academy.
Very good. So
And-
you were at a culinary academy, and I know good culinary academies always have externships connected to them, and so you went to New Orleans for
I
that.
did.
But see, you took it seriously, and I'm hearing the same thing time after time from chefs. It's the formal training, and then working under fabulous chefs.
Right. And it can go the other way around. I don't think school is absolutely necessary.
Okay.
If you're going to be a sponge and you want to spend that kind of money and just get everything you can, especially out of San Francisco, you talk about influences there.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so school there, and then New Orleans. Where else have you been?
Then I did some travel in Australia and New Zealand, but I learned quite a bit there.
So, different cuisine than what we have here in this country. What did you take away from that time?
Australia and New Zealand to me, and I don't know that I knew what I was going to get when I came there.
All right. You were very open, though.
Very open.
Very open. Okay.
To me, it's a parallel universe almost. It's very similar in a lot of ways to this country, and then completely different at the same time.
Yes.
So the classic training comes into play, but the ingredients and methods and the ethos behind a lot of what they do is just different. It's a different approach, and it's really fresh and exciting.
Okay. So you just
I saw
gathered
things there,
experiences and foods and preparation different from what you would have here. But we have it here at Pachamama's because all that's come with you.
To a lesser or greater extent,
To a lesser
absolutely.
or greater extent. All right. So then after New Zealand and Australia, what did you do?
I was back to St. Louis and I was sending out resumes. I didn't know where I was going. And I got a phone call from a friend of mine saying that Pachamama's chef had just departed and they needed some help. So I had my knife bag and I said, I'll come up there for a couple of weeks. And
chefs carry their knife bags wherever they go. Yes.
that was the tail
A couple of weeks.
of 1999.
So, from coming down for a few weeks to help out, you are now the owner and chef of, executive chef of Pachamama's. So the food here is newer American. How would you describe this again?
Yeah, it's definitely new American. We're taking classic technique and introducing new approaches to cooking. Execution and flavor is super important.
Yes.
But the simplicity and focusing on the ingredients.
If you don't start out with good ingredients, you're just never going to have a good result on your plate.
I think I heard someone say, I wish I could take credit for this, but finding a reason for a plate and then stopping there.
Okay.
Or maybe not taking it too much farther. It's kind of like spending too much time on a portrait. A little bit of restraint.
All right, so here you've been influenced on your career path. What kind of environment, how are you providing that inspiration to your cooks every day?
I think just seeing it in their eyes, the excitement they get when we're working with some of the ingredients we get, just talking about it. You know, it's kind of a live and breathe sort of situation. And it's a pretty amazing thing to watch. And I don't personally feel like I'm influencing
Guess
them
what,
that much.
you are.
Maybe it's just because I'm here all the time and you don't see it. I see the customer's response, you know, that's the instant
Very
gratification.
important, right.
But it comes later down the road when I get emails from people that worked for me in the past. And it's just
They're
amazing.
on to new things.
They're on to new things. They're still excited about it. Thank you so much.
Oh.
And that just makes me so happy.
So the gratification of having shared your experiences, which you enjoyed along the way, and then the gratification of your diners here at Pachamama's.
And
Pretty good inspiration, huh?
It is, and it's a constant evolution, and that's what's great about it because you never stop learning. You never stop trying to push the bar a little bit farther, and that's very important to me. And I think that's one thing I try and instill.
Okay, that it's not, what is the saying? Wisdom is
If
a
you think
journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
And so, same your philosophy for in your kitchen. Okay, I think you and I should go into your kitchen and make that signature dish. What are we going to make?
We're doing autumn salad, which is I hate to use the word melange, but it is. It's
Okay, you can use that
autumn
word.
vegetables, different cooking techniques. We're doing roasted and poached butternut squash, some raw vegetables, some pickled vegetables with a wheat berry salad. And we have this awesome plum chutney that's infused with truffle and honey.
Oh, yum. Okay, so you and I need to go in the kitchen and do
Yes.
that? Okay, I think you should come with us. We are now in the kitchen at Pachamama's in Lawrence, Kansas with their owner and executive chef, Ken Baker. Ken, what are we making for the signature dish?
Signature dish today is going to be an autumn vegetable salad. At least my take on one.
Your take on one, and I know how particular you are about seasonal and fresh, so what do we have here?
Super simple ingredients. The catch is that they're all prepared in a different way, and that's to enhance textures and flavors.
All right, let's begin here. These are wheat berries.
Yes, those are wheat berries.
How did you prepare them?
Those are basically par cooked,
Yes.
toasted par. It gives a little bit more of a robust flavor to it. And
We forget sometimes to toast rice and grains, and it really makes a difference. It's nutty
There's
and
some-
intense.
fairly decently salted water.
Okay.
That way you can hold back when you're seasoning at the end if you're worried about your salt intake.
Okay.
But it's all about not taking them too far because you want that kind of pop and little chewy texture to it.
What else do we have inside of with our wheat berries?
Toasted pumpkin seeds, some fresh herbs, thyme, and parsley.
And what's that we
That's
got right there?
a tart cherry.
You put in a wonderful mixture of flavors. Okay, so we prepared our wheat berries, and then we mixed them up with everything from pumpkin seeds to tart cherries
And that's something you can do ahead of time.
ahead of time. And that's the other good thing about what our chefs are constantly teaching us is don't do it at the last minute. It causes too much angst. You can prepare some of the pieces and parts of your dish ahead of time and then put it together. All right, that is
a fresh fennel bulb, and that is for crunch and just slight bit of anise flavor. I think it adds a lot and it plays off some of the other flavors.
all right.
They're
and
happening.
What do we have here, Chef?
Pickled onions.
Oh, really?
Very simple, and that's something I have in my refrigerator all the time. There's a lot of ways to go, but it's a hot vinegar, a little bit of salt, and sugar solution that goes over. And you can either choose to can those. I mean, they'll stay in your refrigerator
They'll stay
for
in
a
the
while.
refrigerator. So you make this up in advance, and it could be a great ingredient for several dishes.
It's one of those things that if
It's almost like a
you're not sure what a
relish.
dish needs,
Okay, now what is this lovely ingredient?
that is Malden sea salt.
Why have you chosen a sea salt instead of a kosher salt for this dish?
It's a distinct flavor, but you don't run the risk of over salting with it as long as you're fairly judicious, and it adds that extra flavor right where you need it
Right
instead
where
of
you need it.
oversaturation.
And chefs tell me that when they use sea salt, they don't use it when they're cooking. They use it as
To
garnish.
finish.
Is that what you do too? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, chef, what's this?
That is fresh chev goat cheese from Goddard Farms here in town. She's brand new. Well, not brand new. She's been doing this for over a year, but her cheese is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's really good.
We're about to find out. And this is a peppermill, no
Yes.
doubt. Tell me how you prepared the butternut squash.
Butternut squash is peeled, diced,
Yes.
and blanched.
Oh, blanched. Do
Very
you put
simple.
a little bit of salt water?
There's a little bit of salt in that water. It helps set the color.
All right, because frequently people roast it, but with these other flavors, I can see why you chose more delicate preparation.
Just looking for something clean.
Okay, and this.
Roasted beets.
Now, do you roast them with the skin on?
Skin
and then
on.
You do that.
Salt, pepper, bay leaves, thyme,
Bay
sprigs,
Okay.
extra virgin olive oil,
All right.
and covered.
And covered, and roast them, and then when they're cool enough to handle, peel and dice. And this is one of the stars. What
This is a star. That is a plum chutney using some local plums, some other dried fruits, sugar, spices, cooked down for a real slow, long period.
Slow cook.
And then we whisk in some local honey and just a little bit of truffle oil.
Okay, and truffle oil, of course, adds a drop of smoky to the sweet. And you know what? If you're looking for flavor, you got them all here. Now, how do we mix this together, Chef?
Okay, I'm going to take my a mixing bowl. We have our wheat berries.
Those are heaven, and they're so good. You know, whole grains are so healthy for you too.
Now, I add the butternut squash. And here's where you need to make a choice.
Okay, we're gonna make a choice.
These are red beets, so I can add them now. I run the risk of polluting the entire dish, but honestly, that doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother you.
I think it looks nice as long as you don't overmix it.
Okay. So you could choose to add that at the end, but we think we're safe to do it right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, go for it. We're people of courage. Look at those colors. Okay, Chef, so we've got 3 of our ingredients in. What next for the salad?
Okay. I'm going to season with just a little bit of sea salt.
And notice how far Chef is above the product when he seasons, so even distribution.
Fresh cracked pepper.
Fresh cracked, please.
And that's again, that's up to you. I love it, but I don't use very much. I think a little bit goes a super long way.
It does. And what next?
At this point, I'm going to introduce just a little bit extra virgin olive oil, but I think a nut oil would be really nice as well.
So could you get by with walnut oil?
Absolutely. Hazelnut oil, pecan oil. There's pumpkin seed oil out there right now, which is a very strong flavor, so you have to be careful with it.
A little bit. But extra virgin is what we're using today.
We're just going to make it shiny, really. And if you have a good olive oil, that flavor is going to go very far.
We've got this mixed.
Yeah, now I'm going to
do with the fennel?
slice the fennel. We're looking for a shaved fennel.
Okay.
And these bulbs, once you trim off the bottom, come apart real nice.
All right. How pretty.
Yeah, you could do this on a mandolin, but that even scares me.
Okay.
I've seen lots of fingertips.
Yes, we have, and so we're just going to use some knife skills.
Try and put the flat side down, and I'm just looking for just about paper thin.
Did you say we're ready to plate?
I think we are,
okay.
absolutely.
All right. Okay, Chef, we're ready to plate because you know we with our eyes first. I see you've selected a white plate, the canvas for your artistry. Let's present.
Okay, I'm going to start by laying down a little bit of our truffle honey plum chutney.
So chutney down first.
And we can bring some of that down so it looks nice on the plate.
You know, it takes just a minute to make something fun and exciting looking, but it is so enjoyed by your guests.
Absolutely.
It is. Okay. And then the gorgeous colors of our autumn vegetable salad.
Now, yeah, this is not something I really want to fuss too much over. It's nice for me when it looks like it naturally fell on the plate.
And you know, the beets did not.
They did not.
Because you didn't play with them too much, like
That's right.
you said.
Either that
So
or
here goes our little train of, and look how much fun a plate of a different shape is for your guest.
a little bit of the crumbled goat cheese on top.
And again, locally made.
Yep.
And this is such a mild, tender, gentle flavor.
It is.
Everything's working to get a little bit of sharp, maybe.
That's right.
A little bit of sharp.
And it's going to go a long way, but if you really like goat cheese, have at it.
Have at it. And what else are we putting?
Okay, then we're pickled onions. Depending on the type of recipe you use, they're going to be really sharply flavored, or maybe not so much, but they're adding a little bit of a tart component. That way we don't need to dress the whole thing with a vinaigrette.
So really, the chutney and the olive oil and the onions act as a vinaigrette.
It's about, it's really about having the different cooking techniques to bring out the best of each vegetable.
And also, now we're going to put our fennel.
Shaved fennel right on top.
Okay, Chef, we're almost done. What's left?
And then just for that last bit of crunch, a toasted dark rye crumble on top. They're just like croutons.
So only we're using a rye bread instead.
Right.
Oh, pretty.
There There you go.
Now, Chef, I think we're ready to go to the bar.
Okay.
We'll pair this signature dish with a wine and then invite our celebrity taster in.
Sounds wonderful.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we have just been in the kitchen at Pachamama's with their executive chef, Ken Baker, preparing an autumn salad. What to drink with this salad? To answer that question, we're talking to the PR and marketing manager, Richard Garcia. Richard, what should we drink with the salad?
I have chosen Dr. Lucen Cabinet Style Riesling.
From, yes, and where?
From
Germany. Okay. This is serious Riesling.
It's, exactly.
Okay. Tell me why you've chosen this particular one.
Well, we chose a Cabinet Style Riesling because it is the lightest style of Riesling, and it having an off-dry nature.
And tell us what off-dry?
Off-dry means that it is neither sweet nor dry, so it sort of lets the flavors in the salad just play off of each other without being overly sweet.
All right, so you've chosen this because that vegetable salad really does have many things going on.
Yes.
Some are roasted, some are raw, and then we have that sweet chutney with it. This going to stand up to it?
Definitely.
Okay, Richard, here's where we go from here. We're going to invite our celebrity taster in.
Okay.
He's going to taste the signature dish and sip the wine. Thank you for your suggestion. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we have just been in the kitchen at Pachamama's in Lawrence, Kansas, preparing a signature dish. Went to the bar, paired it with a Riesling, and to taste this creation, we have invited executive producer, host from KCPT Public Television, Randy Mason. Randy, thank you for taking time out of your very frenetic schedule to
No
come
problem.
and taste.
Thanks for putting in my long title.
Well, you do all of it, so we might as well put it in. Okay, we have butternut squash, and we have beets, and we have fennel, and we have pickled onions, and a rye crisp. Normally, croutons are made out of white bread or French bread, but this is rye.
Going rye.
Uh-huh. And some fennel and some goat's cheese, chèvre, that's made locally. Chef's very into local, and I know you care about that as well in public television.
That's a good thing.
So, and their manager paired it with a German Riesling because it's not too sweet and it's not too dry. All right. Now, your task ahead of you is to taste this. So, okay, and we're going to share. So please.
Let's get autumnal.
Okay. That's amazing.
Comes right at you, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not laying back waiting for something to happen.
Oh,
Comes
those
right at you.
textures. So, Chef was trying to do sweet and tart,
Yeah.
a little salty in terms of flavors, and then texture from the soft goat's cheese to the toasted rye.
And
You
the
won't
wheat.
be bored.
And the wheat berry.
And the wheat berry.
I know. I'm intrigued by the different levels of texture. You're right.
I just got sweet in my mouth.
Is this the way we should be responding?
Are we doing good?
No. Okay.
I'll tell you what the sweet thing is. It's a chutney, but it has honey in it, which is what's in plums, fresh local plums.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, yeah, just plum chutney right off the top is not part of my normal diet. I'm going to say that.
Randy, you're expanding your horizons here.
Well, as a guy on the road, I've eaten a lot of cheese sandwiches and things like that. And plum chutney seldom is offered.
Was on the menu.
Yeah, but pretty darn tasty.
Goodness. Oh.
And like you say, the different things in each bite are going to make them kind of a grab bag of flavors every time.
Grab bag of flavors. That's good, Randy. Okay, now you have another part to your assignment, and that is tasting the wine. And do you think it works with the dish? And so to your health and to life.
I'm going to say that I like the wine. I'm not sure that right off the top its flavor and this are what I was expecting.
So you like the wine, but you might have chosen something a little more robust
I think
for this
so.
dish.
I think that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You've interpreted me well because it didn't really come out like that.
I worked with you for a while, so I sort of understand. Well, Mandy, I also want to thank you not only for taking time out, but for the wonderful work that you bring to public television and have for 27 years in Kansas City. You've figured this out, obviously, how to do it. Most notably, your recent production of Raising the Roof, which was a documentary on the Kaufman Performing Arts Center. And I sent you a note, but I want to say it in person. It was beautifully done, and I think it should go on the National Program Service because it is of that quality.
You're very kind, and how could you go down there and not make something pretty cool? Because it is, you got a head start when you're working.
You have a head start, but you, like Ken, you respected the integrity of the food, the production, and you really captured the passion that went into that building and for the performing artists that are going to be there. You captured it, so I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time here, and thank you for all you do for Kansas City.
Well, let's brave the plum again sometime.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we are in the cellar with Marquis Selections to explore the wines of Lake County, California. With me is the Managing Director of Marquis, Chris Cribb. Thank you for inviting us into your cellar.
Sure, Bonnie, great to be here.
I thought before we start talking wine, we could talk about Marquis, the concept for your company, how you make this happen.
Sure. Well, we are a small company that started up about 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. We got our foot in the door by working a business to start exporting wine from Australia. And we developed our own brand of wines from Australia, from small boutique wineries, brought it to the United States, and once we did that, we developed a network here in the U.S. market that we found needed to have more products. And over the course of the last few years, what we've done is we've strategically went to different places across the globe that we thought were not as well represented in the market that we could find. So
that's why some unique wines in your portfolio.
Sure. So instead of being, us talking about Napa, California wines today, we're talking about Lake County, which doesn't get quite as much play, but is a really good value for the money. So we started in Australia and developed a relationship with different wineries in each part of the world. So I've got a winemaker that works for us down in Australia, over in Argentina, there in Lake County in California. And each one of those people produce different products for us, and we help represent them throughout the world.
Okay. So now let's focus on the Lake County. You say we're familiar with Sonoma and Napa Valley.
Sure.
Why Lake County?
Well, let's do our little geography lesson here. Well,
time for geography.
You take California as a whole, and you've got the long bight. As you're going north of the city of San Francisco, you've got the Napa Valley,
right,
and then to its left, kind of is the Sonoma Valley. But north of both of those regions is the area of Lake County. And if you look on a map, you'll find a big lake, Clear Lake. It's
thus its name.
Yes. It's the largest freshwater lake in all of California. And so it becomes a kind of a microclimate that is inland enough that it changes the area. And we found that this was also a good place to find spicy red wines, specifically Zinfandel.
Yes.
And also they do quite a bit of Sauvignon Blanc. So
the wines we're going to be talking about today are?
These are from a winery called X Winery that works in the Lake County region. And it's called Classy. Classy for your classy dinner party or your classy
special
soiree.
Occasion.
Yes.
Wines. All right. And which one should we talk about first?
We will start out today with the Lake County Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
And so Sauvignon Blanc is made in a few different parts of the world. It's made in notably France, as a Sancerre, or we also do it in the Loire region. We've got a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, which is very citrusy style. And in California, when they make Sauvignon Blanc, it's a little bit larger and fruitier, a little more like like an apple type flavor, like a green apple. This one's got a little bit of the that apple nose, a bright, fresh fruit flavor to it. Some other good citrus to the wine as well.
So what would we serve with this Sauvignon Blanc?
I like this Sauvignon Blanc as a good pair up with something like a nice, sushi. I'm kind of a sushi fan. I'd say this would go.
We've
real
noticed
well.
that.
Yeah, I would say it would go real well with a few other of the light, kind of the lighter chicken dishes.
Fish, certainly.
Definitely fish.
Yes.
If you're trying to do something that has a little bit of that lemon lime flavor to it, this would pair real well.
Definitely citrus.
Yeah.
Definitely citrus. Okay, and what
Chicken piccata.
Chicken piccata. Oh, that would be excellent with that.
Starting to make me hungry.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we're going to have to feed us soon. What temperature should we serve this?
We should serve this nice and chilled. Sauvignon Blanc is really coming almost out of the freezer, but very, very cool.
Very cool.
Keeps it tight, and then it just kind of warms up and gives you a little bit larger mouthfeel over time. So.
Okay. All right. Now for the Zen.
For the Zen.
Okay.
Well, when we were thinking about what we were going to make for our first American red wine, we went with what does America really do that nobody else does quite as well.
Okay.
And Zinfandel was what we thought
There we go.
kind of fits.
Yes.
Zin is a specifically very good barbecue wine.
Well, in Kansas City and barbecue, and so that would happen. Yes.
So that was pretty natural fit. And Zinfandel is the same grape as Primitivo in Italy. It's got that spiciness to it that gives you real, not peppery, but almost like a cloves, allspice. It's got a lot of dark red fruit to it. So we thought that this one was a nice combination of that spiciness as well as a longer palate. I'd serve this fairly chilled. This is, speaking of the barbecue, if you had just done a little bit of outdoor cooking, 4th of July, something like that, Labor Day, this would be one that I would toss in the ice bucket for just a little bit to cool it down.
Okay.
Because when you're having wines of this nature that have this high of an alcohol content, they get almost porty or alcoholic. Some people call it hot. In your mouth,
Right.
where the alcohol almost burns your tongue if it's really hot, if it's warm in temperature. So to decrease the hot in the wine from a taste perspective, what you really want to do is just chill it down a bit, and it'll take that heat right out of it.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna keep this chilled. Now, we talked about going to the more unique places on the globe to find these wines and bring them to America for us that we might not otherwise have. Your efforts have been recognized by Wine Spectator. What is some of the best wines at the best prices in the last 5 years? That's quite an effort to achieve that recognition. How do you go about doing this? What is your selection process?
Well, thank you. We've really done a lot to try to make sure that we have the best of the best in our selections. And so what we've tried to do is we go through a double wine process where we take and we purchase wines from retail that are the best-selling Sauvignon Blanc from this northern region of California.
Yes.
And we take 2 or 3 of those, we put them next to ours in a blind tasting where no one knows they're behind a bag, and we only choose the best of the best. So that allows us to have a little bit of a litmus test that says these wines stand up against their competition.
So this is the classy selection.
Yes.
If you're having a very special dinner party and you want to provide your guests a taste, the palate of something perhaps they haven't tasted before, this would be a good selection.
What we've really found is that these are a real value for the money.
And you've taken great care with that in your entire portfolio.
Thank you.
Where can we learn more about Marquee Selections?
Sure. We can learn more about Marquee at our website, www.marquee.com, M-A-R-Q-U-E-E. And you can get a hold of us on our toll-free phone number, 1-888-627-7833, which spells Marquee.
Marquee.
So either one of those really will take you to information about all the wines in our portfolio and how you can be able to get a hold of them both locally in your market as well as with our Marquee seller online.
Okay. Thank you once again for inviting us into the cellar.
No
when
problem,
we come
Bonnie.
back, we're going to talk next week about rosé.
All right.
All right. Won't you join us?
I'm excited.
And to your health.
Cheers.